We will return to the roundtable shortly. First, though, it's important to remember that Black history is also American history, and the only way we can move forward is to acknowledge the past. Let's take a look at Black history in central Pennsylvania. South central Pennsylvania, including Cumberland, Franklin, York, and Adams counties, were slaveholding capitals from the 1770s until almost the 1830s. Central Pennsylvania later became a stop on the Underground Railroad because of its geographic location between the state and Maryland. Here at McAllister's Mill, the McAllister family helped guide escaped slaves north toward Gettysburg and the Quaker community in northern Adams County. During the 1860s, Owen Robertson was a slave in Maryland who moved to Gettysburg after being set free. The Adams County Historical Society considers him the first Black entrepreneur in Adams County. Andrew Dalton, executive director of the Adams County Historical Society, says Robertson continued to persevere despite hardships at his business.
During the battle, he and his family fled for fear of being taken and brought into slavery by the Confederate Army. They returned and found their store had been ransacked, but Owen recovered and continued to operate his business for a number of years afterwards.
The Reconstruction Era from 1865 to 1877, after the American Civil War, abolished slavery. One of central Pennsylvania's leaders during this era was Thaddeus Stevens, a member of the Pennsylvania House of Representatives. Tony Collins, the creator of YWCA Lancaster's Black Artist Way Station project, says Thaddeus played a central role in ending slavery.
Lancaster has been in the crucible of the civil rights discussion for hundreds of years. If you think about it, Lancaster was involved because of Thaddeus Stevens and Lydia Hamilton Smith.
Figures like Thaddeus Stevens were fighting to make sure that every child in Pennsylvania had access to public education. And this is a good example of that, where you have African-American children, most of their parents, former slaves.
When World War I broke out in Europe in 1914, urban areas in the West, Midwest, and North faced a shortage of workers. Businesses now needed African Americans to come north, leading to the Great Migration. Driven by economic hardship and segregation in the South, more than 6 million African Americans and their families fled the South to cities, including Harrisburg, where they continue to face civil and human rights inequalities. In the 1960s, a central Pennsylvania leader who fought these inequalities was John Gumby. In 1968, John was the first African American football coach at John Harris High School in Harrisburg. Gumby says the Black community used education to combat oppression.
Was it segregation in Harrisburg? Yes. Did the minorities have a rough time in this city? Yes. But a lot of us worked our way out of it through education.
John says when he marched for civil rights, there was something missing.
In our marches, we didn't always have a lot. It wasn't diverse. The diversity wasn't there. But now when you look at the crowds for the Black Lives Matters, I think it made a significant difference. Not just as far as the nation is concerned, politically, it made a difference.
Though there has been some progression, the fight for Black civil rights continues today. In the summer of 2020, the deaths of George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, and Breonna Taylor ignited a racial reckoning to confront the racism that sprawls across the country. Reverend Dr. Franklin Hairston Allen of Harrisburg's First Zion Baptist Church says the marches were an awakening for change.
Everyone that watched, everyone that was able to understand, knew that there was something wrong. And because there was something wrong, we were able then pushed to react and interpret that wrongness. And so the good then is because the entire world saw what was wrong, what had happened.
Despite the turmoil, African Americans have remained resilient despite oppression and racism. This resiliency shines through Black excellence. Central Pennsylvania has displayed this excellence in every aspect. Entrepreneurs, community leaders, doctors, authors, and more, the historical contributions of Black Americans are embedded into the framework of Central Pennsylvania. Black history is American history.